This last year has been pretty insane relative to aliens or UFOs / now we're calling them UAPs. The government is holding actual hearings.
Do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
And now all of a sudden, mum's the word. The hearings have gone away, and collectively as a country, the United States has kind of swept it under the rug. Odd. I was thinking about that this morning in the shower, and I also remember during that time, I don't know if you remember this, there was this story in Las Vegas. There were some police officers that all of a sudden caught on their vest cam or whatever it might be, something streaking through the sky and coming down to earth. Moments later, there's actually a call into 911 about a family that had something crash into their backyard.
They said they saw something fall from the sky. They checked their backyard and they saw something with like 8 to 9 feet, no clothes, green colored men, not human, with like the eyes were glowing, and it was not a human being. Did you see it?
Yeah, me and him saw it.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
Because I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
And then the video comes out of them going into their backyard trying to find these aliens. That video's been dissected a million different ways, and some people find shadows in there, others don't.
We say to a degree of scientific certainty that this entity, this thing in the video, is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there.
But that's not what this is about. I started to think about whatever happened to all of this and got into that scenario. And then I thought, well, what if I were in that scenario? What if all of a sudden an alien came and crashed into my backyard? What would I do? And then I thought, what board games would I play? You're probably thinking, how am I going to survive this? I hope they're not hostile. I hope, they're not demons like some people are saying, living in in the earth or underneath the ocean or whatever it might be. But I thought it was kind of a fun thought experiment. You have your collection. You can play anything with them. We're going to assume that they can play board games and at least translate their language into English or whatever your language is, and they can understand you. I started to think, how would I tell the story about where I live to that alien through board games? Because they're about to be in quite the culture shock if they start walking around. So I'm going to actually prepare them with a board game. Or 5 board games. The members Discord has already sounded off on their games. In fact, I'll read a few of them. First off, Storm Burn says Earth, Pursuit of Happiness, John Company, and Cyclades. Those are all pretty reasonable. Substitute James says, I like the first 2 a lot, which I'm guessing he's referring to Earth and Pursuit of Happiness, because he would pick Chip Theory game because they're heavy enough and long enough, I might be able to use them as a weapon. Surprise the aliens, take over the ship, and become the new space emperor. Kim says, if I'm teaching them about Earth, based on my collection, I'm going all natural science games. Earth, Wingspan, Meadow, Genotype, but more a rounded answer would be nature game like Earth, a politics game, a civ builder, a war game. I just don't own any of those categories. Yes, that is the constraint. You have aliens in your backyard. You have to go grab what you have. And I'm definitely taking more of a pessimistic approach than Kim. First off, I'm breaking Nemesis out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm probably hiding Nemesis and also the alien episode of Final Girl. I don't want them getting the wrong idea for sure. And I think the first thing that an alien's going to want to kind of figure out is what there is to eat. They're going to start to kind of walk around the city and see a lot of fast food. And I want to prepare them for that. So the very first game I'm pulling off the shelf is Food Chain Magnet. Now, Splotter out of the gates as an entry-level game, I get it. This is quite the reach for sure. But these are intelligent life forms. Their intelligence probably far surpasses mine or anything on Earth. So they can play Food Chain Magnet. I'm hoping to get out to a very early lead. Hope they make a disastrous placement mistake that haunts them the entire game. But really what I want to teach them is that, hamburgers, pizza, and soda are the three most important food groups here in the United States, I also want to help to explain all of the advertisement that they're going to see everywhere they go. And just because they see the advertisement doesn't mean they have to go. Although in this game, when you see the advertisement first, you actually have to go. But that's not the point. It'll at least give me the medium to teach them about competition, about fast food, basic food groups, of course, about advertising, the cutthroat nature of human beings and competition as well. And, they're going to all of a sudden see skyscrapers everywhere. And what better introduction to corporate structure than the corporate structure you're building in Food Chain Magnate? I don't know. I can't think of a better first game to play than the incredibly punishing Food Chain Magnate. It's in this really nice packaging. I mean, everyone pictured is smiling and happy. So this will be a nice little tiptoe into American culture before they start walking around themselves. Now, we talked a little bit about free market, this idea of anyone can open up a business and start competing. However, I think there's more layers to the economy. And they're going to start to see quite the disparity in wealth. They're going to start to see classism and what is a really complex social structure. So I want to teach them about the economy and also how it interacts with our government. Hegemony, that is the game I'm bringing to the table next. No, we're not going light yet. we're going to also introduce them to asymmetric powers at the same time in this what is a fairly complex hand management game. I haven't decided yet whether to make them the capitalist, middle class, working class, government, whatever it might be. I don't necessarily want them to come out of this game with a populist attitude, kind of raging against the machine. So maybe I'll split the difference and I'll put them in the middle class. I probably don't want to be the government. I don't want to really be taxing them and pissing them off. Maybe capitalists or working class would probably be the right faction for myself, but I want to teach them about this economic structure and why they're going to see such disparity and the difference between a small business middle class and a big business capitalist. And really the thing that all of them bitch about, which is the government taking all of their money and doing, I don't know, maybe running alien space programs with. They've probably observed these government programs and all of the resources that are clandestinely put into them. This would explain to them how the government gets that money as well. So I want to prepare them as they start to scroll through TikTok. They're going to see a lot of examples of, well, real and AI versions of war, and I want to prepare them. So I don't want to scare them too much. I want to introduce it in kind of a, I don't know, I guess a non-threatening, cute way. If only there was something that would introduce war, but in a really cute way. Got it? Root. Yeah, I'm going to play Root with them. I just played the asymmetric hegemony. Now Root is on the table. And, it's just the perfect way to kind of tiptoe someone into the horrors of war without just hitting them straight in the face with the true coin game, GMT, whatever it is. I don't want them to get the wrong idea. So I'm gonna throw Root out on the table. Now the big question is, what faction should they play? I'm tempted to shy away from the base game factions and give them the river folk. They're already well acquainted with economies here on Earth. So that might be the perfect faction to kind of ease them into the war atmosphere. Maybe the lizard cult, that might represent too much of a pessimistic view on religion. We want to keep them neutral for now. I certainly don't want them to get any ideas by playing the Eerie on this invading force that's trying to take back over the woodland. That is definitely off the table. Maybe the cats are the best option here. I mean, we kind of want to promote the status quo, right? Like, the cats are the ruling faction of the woodland. We want them to just stay that way. Human beings being the ruling faction here on Earth. We don't want the aliens to get any ideas, so we're going to have them be the cats and maybe promote the idea that status quo is not so bad. Frankly, this conversation could be an entire video. I'm not going to get us off track. I'm bringing us back on track. I will say I'm probably losing this game just to not piss them off. So at this point, they're going to start to see there's some problems. However, I want to change the perspective towards hope. I want them to think that, yeah, there are problems, but there's some good people here on Earth trying to fix them. There's some motivations that are altruistic, not self-serving, and some of us just want to help. There's no better game in my collection to do that. And in fact, really promote working together than Daybreak. Daybreak is probably one of the most optimistic board games I've played, probably one of the best, if not the best co-op I've played this year. And, you know, they're going to start to walk around and see lots of environmental crises. And, you know, Daybreak will show that maybe these actually, I don't think the governments would ever work together to fix this stuff. We just want them to know that it is a possibility for entities to work together to possibly save this world. Some think these aliens are interdimensional beings that are inhabiting this Earth in the future, and they want to make sure it is taken care of so they don't die. They want to make sure that we don't really screw anything up. So if that happens to be the source of these aliens, then Daybreak is the perfect game. It acknowledges that there's plenty of pollution. It acknowledges that we need energy. It acknowledges that we're striving towards clean energy. And it acknowledges that we can work together as a world to reduce or even completely erase our carbon footprint. All of those things were pretty serious, pretty heavy. And by the time we get to this point, we'll probably have been pulling an all day. I mean, this has been a long day, but I want to end it on a fun note. So let's bring out a little bit of a party game here in Monikers. What better game to also test their knowledge of pop culture and absolute worthless knowledge than Monikers? Maybe they've been observing us for a while. I could actually get some intel by seeing how well they do in this game, or maybe even educate them on some of the things going on here on Earth that aren't so serious. Hopefully by the end, they have a general idea of kind of what the economy looks like, what the system has led to, which is, you know, some distribution of wealth and some class warfare as well. It'll also introduce them to the unfortunate outcomes of a lot of this, which is war, but it'll do it in a nice, soft, cuddly way. I mean, I think one of the most important takeaways is to really focus on burgers, pizza, and soda. Also, I'm sending them off into the world, hopefully laughing, have had just a really great time with Monikers. And now it's your turn. Use any logic you want. What games in your collection right this second are you going to go play with that alien in your backyard? Let me know in the comments. With all of that said, have a great day.